Camilo, going back to his idea of starting his business with his friends. So let's say Camilo and other friends get together to start a business. So you want to have an operating agreement, but it's for his own protection, so they know who is doing what, who's making these decisions, who is able to sign for checks, who is able to get into loans, you know, like it's for the own sake of operating the LLC, but it's not, you know, like an actual requirement. You just need to register the LLC and that's it. And on the LLC, you can establish that as a member or member management or manager managed. It's just the title. It's just how they are called. They are not called stockholders, of course, but they are just called member or manager managed. Okay. So for both, for general partnerships and LLCs, same thing. You get what is called the P&L or the profit and loss from the LLC. Then whatever is your percentage of share, that is considered a supplemental income, which is filed with Schedule E, and then you transfer that to your own personal taxes. So you don't pay taxes at this level, but only whatever you got from the LLC, you pay taxes on that. Okay? Next, please. And this is what is called the S corporation. So we have two types of corporations. S is more commonly referred to small business, right? So S corporations, yes, you have the protection of having that limited liability. When you file taxes, you file it as a partnership. So again, you get your Schedule E saying, Camilo, you own 20% of this business, so 20% of the profit is your taxable income. And then it's a little bit high as far as the requirements because you have to do the legal entity. Then the owners are called, you know, stockholders, but they have to have a board of directors. So it's a little bit more complex, you know, compared to the LLC. And there are different requirements to qualify as an S Corp that we are going to learn. Because yeah, one of the disadvantages of the S Corp, can we have next, is that it's not allowed for non-resident aliens to be part of an S Corp. So let's go over the requirements. So for the IRS to consider you as an S corporation, it has to be a domestic corporation, meaning based in the US. It has to be individuals, some trust and estates, but you cannot have partners or corporations or other non-resident aliens as being part of the S corporation. Then no more than 100 shareholders, so no more than 100 owners, and only one class of stock, and it cannot be like, for instance, insurance companies, they have to have a C corporation. They cannot be an S corporation. So some specific companies, they cannot be S corporations. So it's a little bit more complex. Of course, if your business is growing and it demands for you to have an S corporation, it makes sense. But sometimes for startups, it's a little bit more complex. Okay? And for taxes, the S corporation can be taxed as both either as an LLC or what is it called, like yeah, it can be as an LLC or as a C corporation. So you have the option to choose. But the first type of taxing for an S corp is that you get the same thing, profit from the S corporation, and then pay taxes at the personal level. So you only pay taxes once. But the second option is to pay taxes twice, which is the same as C corporations, which we are going to learn, which of course is not good. So let's have next one. So the C corporation is usually, you know, those big companies like IBM, like, you know, you name it, Apple, all those large corporations where you need a lot of owners. Sometimes they go public, so they sell, you know, their stocks on you know, to other owners, other countries. So C corporation is definitely for larger corporations, and in this case, of course, they have limited liability, and you have double taxation. That's the bad thing. Same thing, the administrative process is a little bit more complex because, of course, it's large corporations, a lot of owners. You have to, you know, get certificates and all of that. You have to do your own bylaws, so you know who is the board of directors, who's the CEO, who is the CIO, who is, you know, I don't know, the hiring department, the operating, the sales, the marketing. So it's a little bit more complex. And the next one. And of course, C corporations have that double taxation issue that I want you to be aware of. So on any C corporation, you have to pay taxes at the C corporation level, and then whatever is your profit, you take that to your personal taxes, and again, pay taxes. So that is one of the disadvantages of having a C corporation, that you have to pay taxes twice. So again, C corporations is most recommended for large entities, a lot of owners, or if you want to go public. But I'm guessing one of these days, I don't know, maybe you have a huge idea and you invent the new GoPro, and then you can, go public, and then you have to file for a C corporation. But yeah, definitely under these type of entities, you want to have an attorney involved so they can work on your agreements and filings and all of that. Any questions so far? Okay, so next one. So this is just a table comparing all the different entities that we were talking about. So as far as limited liability, under sole proprietorship and general partnership, you have unlimited liability, meaning anything happens and you get sued by a customer, then they can go after your personal assets, okay? But you have that limited liability under LLCs, S corporations, and C corporations. Then for income taxes, under sole proprietorship, whatever the company made, you pass that through your personal taxes, and you have to pay self-employment tax. Under these three, same thing. Whatever the business made, that is transferred over to your personal taxes. But this one, you have to pay taxes twice. On whatever the company made, you pay taxes, and then after taxes, it gets transferred to the owners, and then they have to pay taxes again. So that's one of the big disadvantages of having a C corporation. Then for the administrative process or burdens, it's very simple to open a sole proprietorship, because you don't need to register the business unless you want to register the doing business as. For general partnership, LLC, S corporation, and the rest, you have to go to sunbiz.org. But watch out, because S corporations don't allow to have non-resident aliens, okay? So hands on. Now, let's think about, creating your business names. Any of you that may have already a business name, have you thought about Camilo, or what's your name? Jen. Yeah, have you thought about your business name? Okay. Pedro, do you want to?
I have several.
I'm only doing painting, so I don't know.
Okay, very good. So, well, it's good to, know before you name your business, you have to think about, possible names. Then check if that name is already in use, either on the internet. Check the domain, the domain name, so you have a website. So check GoDaddy.com. Also, you have to check if it's a registered trademark, because of course you cannot start a business that starts with Apple. It's already trademarked everywhere. So all those, iPad, all those trade names most likely are already registered. So watch out, because you don't want to infringe copyrights. Actually, in Mexico, they are very creative. I hate it that sometimes, this creativity is not in the good side. Let's say I saw a restaurant that it was called the Chicken Itself or something like that, and it's like, come on, you're like tweaking it a little bit, but it's related to other things. So just check the name before you register to make sure it's not infringing any copyrights or any trademarks. And also you can check the name that is not already registered by another person at sunbiz.org. And actually the next slide is going to walk you through. So I'm giving you already the tools, so you can just take this information and go to this website. Because again, what I've seen at the bank is many people are already paying like $1,000 for their attorneys to pay or to register the name. And it's really simple, guys. You can do it yourselves. You just have to go to these websites, and the state charges you like $125, for instance. It depends on what kind of legal entity you want to register. But yeah, it's $125 for the LLC. It's just like $25 for DBA. It's like really affordable. And please don't pay $5,000 like in my country. They will charge you for that. And you can do this yourself. So we're giving you the tools, so you can just go to sunbiz.org, and before you register, search, clicking here, and the next one will take you to the search page where you can search by name, by who registered the company, trademarks. So you can also search, fictitious name, like, I don't know, let's say for instance the legal name of Starbucks is, I don't know, coffee makers, whatever, and the trademark or the DBA is Starbucks. So you can also check fictitious names, and that's very, very advisable to do before you register your own name for your business. And the next one is actually how you file it. So you just go, same thing, homepage for sunbiz.org, you just go here, electronic filing, and the next one. So for electronic filing, you have to choose New Florida, either a profit corporation, non-profit, or an LLC, or a partnership, or whatever legal entity that you choose, you can just register your business here, at least in the state of Florida. Of course, if you're going to operate in other states, you may want to think about registering your business in other states. But I mean, just talking about Florida, this is the page where you need to go. And the next one. And what about EIN? A lot of people, they don't know what's an EIN. Did you guys know what's an EIN?
So, employee identification number.
Very good. You deserve some popcorn. So the employer identification number. So who needs an employer identification number, or where do I file? So the simple questions that the IRS is going to ask you before you get an EIN number is, first, you have to ask for yourself. Do you have any employees? Yes or no? Do you operate a business as a corporation or partnership? Yes or no? If it's a no, of course, you don't need an EIN. Do you file any of these tax returns, employment, excise, alcohol, tobacco, or firearms? Yes or no? Do you withhold taxes on income other than wages to a non-resident alien? Yes or no? You have KEO plans? KEO plans is more complex. These are more like retirement plans. Are you involved with any of these type of organizations like trust, IRAs, blah, blah, blah? Then in these cases, then yes, you definitely need an EIN. But if you don't, if you answer no to all of these, then you don't need an EIN. You can operate with your social security number, right? But I mean, if it's at least an organization or a legal entity where you have a couple of people as owners, then yes, it's advisable to have an EIN. And how do I get an EIN? Very simple. Next one. Just go to this website, which everybody should know, irs.gov, which is the homepage for the IRS. And it's as simple as clicking in here, apply for an employer identification number. And guess what, guys? It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to go here, click here, and get your EIN number. Again, I have seen tax preparers charging you up to $500 to get the EIN. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you paid how much? So you can do it yourself. Just follow the prompts. It's gonna ask you questions, what's the name of the business, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna ask you, either who is filing this. But yeah, it's really simple. irs.gov, and there it is. As simple as that. And the next one. So reviewing the steps, really easy. Choose your legal entity, search for the name, register your business at sunbiz.org, which we know is going to be anywhere from $125 to whatever you choose on the legal entity. If you need an EIN, then you can get it for free at the irs.gov. And then find out, like for instance, if you're starting a restaurant, of course you need to find out if you need other licenses, or it's very specific on your industry. Let's say you're in construction, or you are in, something with, childcare or whatever, then you may need additional licenses, by the state. But, overall, it's as simple as having these steps one by one, and you can do it yourself. You don't have to pay those high legal fees that I have seen in other cases. Any questions?